A lightning bolt of mind-shattering pain shot down my legs and almost dropped me to my knees in the middle of the men's bathroom. I frantically clutched my crotch and felt my manhood swelling up uncontrollably. My heart was pounding like a jackhammer. I was scared out of my mind that I was seconds away from either my heart exploding or something even worse. From there, I remember stumbling out of the restaurant, the scream of a siren while I lay on the back of an ambulance, speeding through traffic of a crazy third-world city as a paramedic pumped my chest, then being wheeled through hospital hallways, staring up at the ceiling lights flashing by, and then strapped to an operating table, a team of doctors and nurses hovering over me, shouting in a language I couldn't understand, and a nurse preparing a giant syringe that looked like something you'd use on an elephant. I let out a scream as the nurse took my throbbing, swollen manhood in one hand and slowly aimed the needle towards it. I remember praying for a quick death, and my world cut to black. But I guess God had other plans for me. I survived, and in fact, the living nightmare I experienced in that ancient, faraway land led me to discover a simple, stress-free, and 100% natural 30-second secret that completely reversed my erectile dysfunction. Made me swear off pills, pumps, and injections forever, and gave me back the rock-hard erections and endless sex drive I had enjoyed as a much younger man. Even more amazing, this same all-natural 30-second secret I discovered is now helping tens of thousands of other men around the world to enjoy fuller, firmer, harder erections and raging bull stamina. But this presentation will not be online for much longer, for reasons I'll explain to you in a moment. So watch this now while you can. Hi, I'm Mike, and if your erections don't feel as full or firm as they were when you were a younger man, if you ever worry you can't last long enough to give your woman the deep satisfaction she secretly craves, if your sex drive has faded over the years, and you no longer feel that animal lust you're supposed to feel when you're with a beautiful woman, especially one you love, and if your sex life has ever caused you shame and embarrassment, or caused a woman to look at you with disappointment in her eyes, then I need you to pay very close attention, because I'm about to share a shocking story with you about how I went from feeling useless, ashamed, robbed of my manhood, watching my marriage and family crumble while I stood by helpless, until I became so desperate I did something truly horrifying that almost cost me everything I held dear. Yet there's more to this presentation, much more in fact, because I'm also going to share with you an all-natural 30-second secret that I discovered in an exotic, faraway land, a secret that's been buried and hidden from you for hundreds of years. Yet once I stumbled upon it, it became my sexual fountain of youth and rewound my sex drive back to how I felt as a rock-hard, battle-ready 18-year-old U.S. Marine. If you suffer from any form of erectile dysfunction, which we'll call ED from now on, then this will be the most important presentation you'll ever lay your eyes on, because the all-natural 30-second secret I'm about to give you has been hailed as a miracle by men of all ages, from younger men who suffer performance problems to white-haired seniors who haven't experienced a fully firm, youthful erection in decades. But before we begin, know this: ED is not your fault, and you are not alone. Clinical studies have shown 89% of men over the age of 40 now suffer from ED in some form, and 43% of men under 40 do too. If your erections are softer or less sensitive than they used to be, or too sensitive, that's ED. If you ejaculate prematurely, that's ED. If you ever feel like there's a disconnect between your brain and your manhood down there, like your mind is willing but your soldier won't stand up and cooperate, that's ED too. And in the next 6 minutes, you'll know the real reason why. But make no mistake, if you ever experience any of the symptoms I mentioned, you're suffering from early or mid-stage ED. And if you don't fix the root cause, as you'll soon know how to do, it's only a matter of time before full-blown ED sets in, leaving you in a permanent and irreversible state of what's called penile tissue decay, or as urologists call it, sexual death. The good news is, this natural 30-second secret, which was kept buried for centuries and almost lost to history forever, has finally been brought to light, giving you a safe, incredibly potent, and all-natural method for reversing all forms of ED, while restoring your sex drive back to when you were in your physical prime, allowing you and your partner to enjoy more intimacy, more excitement, round after round of intense, passionate, headboard-rattling lovemaking, and the most explosive, mind-blowing orgasms either of you have ever felt, so that when you're finished, she'll look at you in a whole new way, with awe respect, and lust for your dominant masculine power. Best of all, you'll do this without any awkward trips to the doctor. No expensive prescriptions or medications, no dangerous pills, weird pump devices, or painful injections. What you're about to discover is 100% natural, and it takes only 30 seconds per day. The only side effect is that your woman won't be able to get enough of you because she'll be addicted to the pleasure hormones you set off in her brain like fireworks on the 4th of July every time you penetrate her with your rock-hard manhood. You'll rise to the occasion every time and satisfy her like no man ever has, and no other man ever will. In a moment, you'll hear actual reports from men who use this same 30-second secret, including guys whose bedroom problems seem flat-out hopeless. Yet this secret supercharged their sex drives, gave them stiff as steel erections on command, and took their relationships to new levels of excitement and passion. All I ask is that you agree to 3 ground rules before I reveal this all-natural secret, which one of the world's most powerful industries doesn't want you to know about. Rule number 1. You must give me your complete attention. Put your phone on silent mode, close your door, and focus on this presentation until the very end. This is the only way you will experience the full power of this ancient secret. Rule number 2. You must use this secret responsibly. My life's mission is to save the relationships of men who've been suffering from the ED curse, not ruin them. So once you're bursting with the confidence of a sexual rock star, like a young bull in peak condition with raging stamina, I ask that if you are married, respect your vows and use your new superpowers for good, okay? Finally, rule number 3. Don't share this secret with strangers. No posting about it on the internet. This is only for men who I can trust to use it responsibly, and you're about to see why. As long as you agree to follow these 3 rules, we can continue. Now, the first thing you need to know is that this presentation is sending shockwaves through the pharmaceutical industry. The reason is simple. Big Pharma rakes in mountains of cash from drugs that treat the symptoms of ED, like Viagra and Cialis. Yet, even though doctors are all too eager to write us prescriptions, these drugs are not medicine. They're actually poison. It's true. The pills work by poisoning an enzyme in your body, which blocks blood flow to your penis. And it's only a matter of time before they stop working completely, leaving your penis deader than before. If you choose that dangerous option, you can also expect side effects, which can include sky-high blood pressure, heart attacks, strokes, and even blindness. And if you're crazy enough to buy pills from online pharmacies, you're really gambling with your life. Over 75% of pills sold online are not only phony, they're loaded with dangerous synthetic compounds. Now obviously, the big pharma pill pushers weren't happy when they learned I'm exposing an all-natural ED fix that makes their drugs irrelevant and unnecessary. And it's why their pitbull lawyers might come after this website at any moment. In fact, this presentation could vanish at any time, which is why you need to watch this now. Let me be clear, I'm not doing this for any fortune and fame. I believe I was put on God's green earth to serve others, and that's why I put this presentation online, even at great personal risk to myself, because I know how devastating ED can be. Not only the way it wrecks your confidence and self-worth as a man, but also how it threatens your relationships, your family, even your own survival. Remember how I said urologists refer to ED as sexual death? Well, when you lose sexual function, it's a signal to your brain that your body is dying. This triggers your body to start melting away muscle mass and storing more fat. Your hair, or what's left of it, begins to rapidly vanish. You lose your focus and mental clarity. Your energy fades. Your sexual death tells your vital systems it's time to shut down. Because as far as your body is concerned, your purpose as a man, which is to spread your seed and pass on your genes, is finished. If this scares you, it should. But we can reverse this today. It has nothing to do with poor blood flow, what you eat, or whether you exercise, or the fact that you've reached a certain age. George M. from Boca Raton, Florida, sent in this email after discovering this simple 30-second secret and putting it to use. I thought my lack of interest in sex and weak erections were just something that happens as we get older. I love my wife, but I didn't have the same desire anymore, and getting up for lovemaking was a chore. I knew it bothered her, and she missed the intimacy. I'm so thankful that you showed me this, because it didn't only save our marriage, it brought back so much fun and excitement. We're now having sex every day. We feel like a couple of frisky teenagers again. Thomas F. from Toronto, Canada, had this to say. I used to get anxious and stressed out every time I was in an intimate situation with a woman for the first time. I would make excuses not to have sex because I was worried about not getting it up or finishing too quick. But what you showed me made that all go away. Now I feel relaxed and more confident. I know I can get hard whenever I want and last more than long enough to do the job. As you can see, every man who discovers this secret is another customer Big Pharma stands to lose. Men like Frank P. from Buffalo, New York. I thought my problem was due to me being overweight and out of shape. You showed me the real reason and how to fix it. My problem now isn't getting it up, it's keeping it down. I'm as horny as a teenage track star. Last night I pleasured my girlfriend for 30 straight minutes, and I was ready for round 2 just 10 minutes later. She had to beg for mercy. But she's sure loving the new me. At this point you may be wondering, who am I? And how did I come to discover this astonishingly powerful, all-natural ED fix? Like I said, my name's Mike, and back in the good old days, I would have never dreamt ED would ever become a problem in my life. Getting too many hard-ons used to be an issue. I remember waking up every morning of high school with a stiffy I could pound nails with. I'd have to take care of myself in the shower before I got dressed and caught the bus to school. And throughout my day, my pesky pecker had a life of its own. I'll never forget my 9th grade biology teacher, Miss Edelstein. Her short skirts and big full breasts that looked ready to burst out of her blouse. I used to pray she wouldn't call me up to the front to solve a problem on the blackboard. Just being in the same room as her gave me a stiffy that nearly ripped a hole in my pants. My unexpected erections came too easily, and it was embarrassing. I went on to proudly serve my country in the U.S. Marine Corps, until the day my patrol vehicle was ripped in half by a roadside bomb. I survived by the grace of God, but my right knee was wrecked. After months of surgery and rehab, I left the military with an honorable discharge. I returned to civilian life in the small town I'd grown up in and got a sales job at a car dealership. I also met my soulmate, Angie. We got married and wasted no time starting a family. The good Lord blessed us with 2 beautiful children. I was a rising star at my job, racking up Salesman of the Month awards and big bonus checks. And Angie and I had a fantastic sex life. Even after years together, we were so affectionate towards each other that we made other couples jealous. Yet once I reached my 40s, my energy and motivation began to slide downhill. My belly grew while my hairline shrunk. And I wasn't interested in sex the way I used to be. It wasn't Angie's fault. She kept herself in tip-top shape and still turned heads wherever she went. But now, we'd be in bed and she would be naked, wet and ready, and I'd make excuses to not have sex because I knew I couldn't perform. I blamed it on stress from my job or my diet. But as I continued to fail in the bedroom, it caused me more embarrassment and anxiety, which only made the problems worse. Some nights I could get hard, but I had trouble staying hard. I'd go limp as a wet rag and wind up tugging on my sad, shriveled soldier, praying for a miracle, until Angie would let out a disappointed sigh and say, "It's okay, honey," and crawl under the covers and turn away. Other times I'd get myself just hard enough to penetrate her, but I was so worked up I'd lose control and blow it within seconds. There were nights when Angie would be beside me in bed, she'd reach over and start massaging me down there. And even though I was wide awake, I'd pretend to be asleep and move away because I didn't want to disappoint her with another humiliating performance. She'd tell me, "It's okay." But as men, we know this is not okay. It's not only humiliating for us, it's also hurtful and embarrassing for her. She worries you aren't attracted to her the way you once were. She feels ugly, fat, old, unwanted. You know how women remember every little insult and disappointment? I felt so ashamed and furious with myself. What kind of man can't fulfill his most basic duty to his wife? I went to my doctor and asked him about testosterone injections, but he shot down that idea. He said once you get on the fake stuff, your body's natural testosterone production shuts down and your risk of prostate cancer shoots up. Instead, he scribbled a prescription for, you guessed it, the little blue pills, almost $30 each. And I hated myself for it. A man who has taken his vows before God to love and cherish his wife shouldn't need to depend on some artificial drug just to make love to her, right? Still, the next night, I popped a pill after Angie and I put the kids to sleep. And as we lay in bed watching TV, I began to feel some tingling and stirring down there. Thank you, Lord, I thought. Even if taking that pill was cheating in my mind, at least I could pleasure my wife again, like a man is supposed to. I moved Angie's hand onto my stiffening boner, and she giggled like an excited schoolgirl. She thought the old me was back. But suddenly, I felt flushed and sweaty. My heart started pounding like a jackhammer. I felt so dizzy I stumbled out of bed and staggered to the bathroom. I was slumped over the sink, splashing cold water on my face. When Angie opened the bathroom door and glared at me with ice-cold daggers in her eyes, this time she didn't look disappointed. She was pissed. "This has gone on long enough," she said. And then came 5 words that hit me like a sledgehammer. "Tell me who she is." My wife was suspicious that I was seeing another woman. It felt like a cruel joke. How could I be screwing some mistress when I couldn't even get it up for my own wife, the mother of my children? I swore to Angie there was no one else. Out of sheer desperation, I made up the only excuse I could think of. I told her my old combat injury had flared up and my doctor had me on some pain medication that was known to have side effects when it came to a man's sexual function. So now on top of it all, I just lied to my wife for the first time. I got her to believe me. For now. But as I hugged her close to my chest, I choked back tears of shame and frustration. Angie, being the incredible wife she is, kissed me and told me, "It's going to be all right. Whatever you're going through, whatever the problem is, we're going to get through it together." Right then, I silently swore to myself that I would get to the root of this problem and fix it, no matter what. I began spending all of my spare time doing research on the internet and at our local university library. I learned the medical explanation for ED. Your body is unable to increase blood circulation to the vessels surrounding your penis, which prevents it from filling it with blood and giving you an erection. Pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra can force this to happen artificially. But did you know that almost 1,000 people die every year from heart attacks due to these drugs? And every time you put that toxic junk in your system, it makes it even harder for you to ever get another natural erection again. None of the published medical studies in the USA gave any clues about how to fix ED without drugs. And the reason why is obvious. Big Pharma has doctors, researchers, and even medical schools in their back pocket. I was desperate for answers, and my wedding anniversary with Angie was coming up. We hadn't been intimate in months. Our marriage was dying a slow death. I'd been sleeping on the living room couch. I wasn't a real man anymore. I sure wasn't a real husband, and I didn't deserve to share a bed with her. And we were arguing over the bills, too. My shattered confidence was affecting me at work. My sales numbers were in the toilet. Then one night, after Angie and I had another blowout argument, I crept into our daughter Mandy's bedroom to kiss her goodnight. I found her curled up in bed, her little 5-year-old body trembling as she sobbed herself to sleep. "Why do you and Mommy hate each other?" my baby girl said to me, sniffling through her tears. And it hit me like a lightning bolt. My ED nightmare wasn't only destroying my manhood and my marriage, it was tearing apart my family. I had to take massive action, or lose everything. The next day, my boss handed me my quarterly bonus check. After telling me my numbers were a joke compared to the new sales guy, Gary, the young, slick punk who called me Grandpa, although my bonus was a fraction of the checks I used to pull in, it was enough for me to buy Angie and me 2 tickets to Egypt. Why Egypt? Well, Angie is a history buff. She loved reading and watching shows about ancient civilizations. The Egyptian pyramids were at the top of her bucket list. I figured if we could just get away and be alone together for the first time in years, somewhere brand new and romantic, maybe, just maybe, I could perform like a man again, and we could make a fresh start. When I showed Angie the tickets, she cried tears of joy. She wanted to fix our relationship just as badly as I did. We promised each other this trip would be a new beginning for us. So we dropped off our kids with Angie's sister and off we went to Cairo, the sprawling capital of Egypt. The first 2 nights in Cairo, I avoided sex by saying I was wiped out from jet lag. I didn't feel ready to try yet. My libido was still missing in action. But on the 3rd night, after a long day of visiting the pyramids, Angie sprung a surprise on me. She booked us a table at some fancy restaurant along the banks of the Nile River. "We came here to make a fresh start," she said, "and I brought a special outfit for later tonight." Angie opened her suitcase and held up some very naughty lingerie in front of her curvy body. There was a time when just seeing that would have made me harder than 3rd-year calculus. Yet instead, I felt anxious and sick to my stomach. But then I remembered I'd brought along something in my luggage too. A secret weapon, which I'll explain in a moment. So now we're at the restaurant, on our 2nd bottle of wine. I rarely drink, but I needed some liquid courage to steady my nerves. Angie was buzzed and feeling frisky. Under the table, she slipped off her shoe and nuzzled her foot into my groin. "Honey, thank you for this trip," she said. "It's just you and me here, and tonight I'm going to show you my appreciation." The movie played out in my worried mind. Later tonight, me in bed next to Angie. She's in her red lace lingerie, and I'm sitting there tugging on my sad, shriveled junk as useless as soggy spaghetti, humiliating myself and letting her down again. And that's when I knew I couldn't risk another pathetic performance. Tonight was do or die. I excused myself to go to the bathroom, locked myself inside a stall, and pulled my secret weapon out of my pocket, a penile injection kit I'd ordered from some website. I must have looked beyond pathetic, cringing in a bathroom stall like some junkie, shooting up my limp penis full of some black market drug while I clenched my teeth to keep from screaming in pain. 10 minutes later, back at our table, as Angie ordered dessert, I gulped another glass of wine. I felt a painful cramping in my crotch. Jolts of searing pain shot down my legs, and I could feel my junk swelling up like a balloon hooked up to a pump. Dear God, it felt like it was going to burst. I excused myself to go back to the men's room, frantically unzipped my pants and pulled out my penis. It was grotesquely swollen, turning black and blue. I had to get to the hospital now. I ducked out a back door and staggered down a crowded street, clutching my throbbing crotch. Every step was agony. Then the world went blurry and began to spin. From there, I only remember bits and pieces. Me in the back of a speeding ambulance, sirens wailing, then being wheeled through hospital hallway, strapped to a gurney, staring up at the ceiling lights flashing by. Then, I'm on an operating table, a team of doctors and nurses hovering over me, a nurse preparing a gigantic syringe that looked like something you'd use on an elephant. And then, sharp, mind-exploding pain as she inserted it deep into my swollen penis, and I saw the syringe sucking out thick black blood. My world cut to black. A day later, I came to, feeling like I'd been run over by a train. Immediately, I yanked down the bed covers and checked the damage. By the grace of God, my soldier was still there, back to its normal size, though it looked like it'd gotten a beatdown from Mike Tyson. I noticed Angie sitting beside me. The doctors had already told her everything. I thought she'd be furious at me for taking that stupid injection. But she told me she only cared about getting me through this, getting us through this. Once again, I thank God for blessing me with a wife I didn't deserve, and I prayed for an answer. The next morning, Angie was resting back at our hotel when the doctor in charge came to see me. His name was Dr. Mustafa. "We must attack the root cause of your problem right away," he told me, "because erectile dysfunction is a symptom of something larger and much deadlier." He continued, "ED means your arteries are clogged with plaque, which is preventing proper blood flow to your penis. In over 90% of my patients, this also means plaque in your coronary arteries, which puts you at risk of a heart attack at any moment, or clogging in a brain artery, which can mean a massive stroke at any time." Dr. Mustafa scribbled something in Arabic on a piece of paper, and he handed it to me. "This is all you need," he said. "Before you go back to your country, show that to a taxi driver. He'll know where to take you to get this." "To get what?" I asked. "It's our local remedy," he said. "You'll never hear of it in America, but it's a formula that's been used for thousands of years in Asia and the Middle East, going back to the days of the great emperors and conquerors. Think of it as an elixir, an ancient drink of the gods." The doctor explained that the richest and most powerful men in Asia have always been obsessed with boosting their jing qi, or sexual energy. Back in ancient times, the emperors used their jing qi to produce dozens, even hundreds of children with harems of women, to pass on genetic legacies that would last forever. It said the legendary warlord Genghis Khan drank this elixir every night before he laid down with his wives, and he wound up having so many children well into his 80s that historians say today 1 in 200 men can trace their DNA back to him. According to Dr. Mustafa, men in the Far East have sworn by this all-natural, instant ED fix for centuries, because it gives you more than rock-solid erections on demand. It also has powerful anti-aging effects and can rewind your energy levels and vitality back to your physical prime. Dr. Mustafa personally swore by it. Apparently, he was living proof. He didn't look a day over 35, but he told me he was 49 and still made love to his wife twice a day, every day. I thank Dr. Mustafa for the recommendation, even though I was skeptical. My problem still felt hopeless. The next day, I was released from the hospital. We had one more day in Egypt. While Angie went souvenir shopping, I headed out on a mission. I showed Dr. Mustafa's prescription to a taxi driver, and he brought me to a crowded street market, then down a back alley to some hole-in-the-wall shop that looked like a pharmacy from 100 years ago. The toothless old lady behind the counter looked at my piece of paper and handed me a bag filled with brown powder. She didn't speak a word of English. I paid her and went on my way. Once we were back in the USA, I used the powder to make a pot of tea. The smell of it brewing was awful. The taste was 10 times worse. I was barely able to gag it down. At first, I felt nothing, but a half hour later, I started feeling some tingling and movement in my crotch. I could actually feel the blood flow being transferred from other areas of my body directly into my rapidly stiffening penis. The sensation was incredible, but then it stopped. I was about 70% erect when the tingling faded, and my boner began to shrink. I knew there was something to this exotic brew, but I wasn't going to tell Angie about it yet. I didn't want to get her hopes up. Over the next week, I experimented with different dosages and took it in different forms. In a tea, mixed with coffee, as a smoothie. Each time the results were a little different, but not quite right. I'd drink a batch of my magic powder, and within minutes I'd have an erection. But it wasn't 100% firm, and it wouldn't last. Or I'd feel nothing until many hours later, and suddenly getting a raging erection while I was at my job trying to sell some old lady a car. That was no good either. Then it happened. One night I drank my brew an hour before bedtime. Angie and I were in bed watching TV when suddenly I felt that tingle again. Except this time I got 90% erect, and it didn't go down. I pulled Angie towards me and we made love. She had her first screaming, body-shaking climax in years. She was delighted and amazed. It felt like a miracle, but to be honest, I still hadn't gotten that full, rock-hard firmness I used to get as a younger man, and my ejaculations were a weak dribble. But hey, I got the job done and she was happy. However, now I had another problem. I was almost out of my magic powder. I needed to know what was in this stuff so I could get my hands on some more. I tried to call Dr. Mustafa at his hospital in Egypt, but they told me in broken English that he no longer worked there, and they didn't have his contact info. I gave them my phone number and begged them to pass it along to him if they could. Then I did the only thing I could think of. I contacted a lab in the USA and sent them the last scoop of my powder so they could analyze it. A few days later, they emailed me a report. The powder from Egypt contained 5 main herbs and minerals, along with a few other ingredients which the lab marked unknown. I immediately researched the ingredients in the report, which turned out to be vitamin B3. Science shows that every part of your body needs this nutrient to function properly. It's known to help lower cholesterol, ease arthritis, reverse high blood pressure, and boost brain function. But this miracle nutrient is especially known to be a vasodilator, which means it expands your blood vessels and promotes blood flow. The result? A stronger rush of blood to your penis when it's go time, and thicker, harder, and larger erections. Chinese ginseng. This made a lot of sense also because for thousands of years, practitioners of Chinese medicine have used this amazing super herb to promote health and longevity. And it's said to improve sexual stamina and mental concentration while reducing stress, lowering blood sugar, and boosting the immune system. Oat straw. Not only is this ingredient great for your heart, it also supports sharper thinking and enhanced focus by increasing blood flow to the brain while reducing inflammation and stress and strengthening the nervous system and sexual function. Saw palmetto. This is another secret weapon which men have been relying on since ancient times, since research shows it supports prostate health, harder erections, and improved stamina while increasing testosterone levels and even preventing hair loss. And then cayenne. The spicy cayenne pepper has been called the king of medicinal herbs because it has been used as a medicine in the jungles of South America going back thousands of years. The benefits of this unusually powerful, all-natural ingredient, which is packed with antioxidants, include speeding up your metabolism to promote fat loss, reducing hunger cravings, and aiding with digestion and pain relief. And on top of that, it improves circulation and blood flow to give you those incredible, hard-as-steel erections you enjoyed in your younger years. Some of these all-natural, insanely powerful ED-reversing ingredients have been under our noses the whole time, right there on the shelves of our local stores. Yet I would discover, while each of these ingredients on their own can help with certain aspects of ED and your overall health and male vitality, it's when you combine these 5 ED-smashing ingredients in the right dosages that you get a synergistic effect, an amazing chain reaction that takes you beyond giving superstar bedroom performance because it also enhances your energy, mood, and mental sharpness while turning back the clock on how you look and feel. So I went to work tracking down the raw ingredients. Some were difficult to find and took weeks to arrive in the mail, and mixing up my daily drink was a hassle. And I didn't know how much of each ingredient to use when I mixed up a batch of my brew, or when I should take it for maximum results. So I experimented. Soon I was waking up every day with morning wood and making love to Angie once a day, maybe twice. Everything was back in working order. Though, to be honest, it didn't work 100% of the time when I needed it, and I still miss those raging hard-ons I had in my 20s. You remember what it was like. When you get so stiff it feels like it's throbbing, and your orgasms are like giant explosions. But I couldn't complain. This all-natural breakthrough had saved my marriage and given me my manhood back. Then one afternoon while I was at work, my phone rang. It was Dr. Mustafa, finally returning my phone call. He told me I was lucky I'd had my accident in Egypt. Otherwise, I never would have found out about this combination of ingredients. Big Pharma makes sure of that. While I had him on the phone, I had to ask him, was there anything I could add to my formula to make it more potent? I felt like I was 90% there, but if there was just some way to tweak it, to give it some extra firepower. Dr. Mustafa immediately understood. He said the main 5 ingredients were more than enough for the average man in his part of the world. But men from our world, like you and me, have been exposed our whole lives to pollutants, processed foods, pesticides, toxic chemicals in our water. Even the chemicals in plastic water bottles have been shown to lower our testosterone and murder our sex drive. In other words, you and I might need a stronger, more potent form of this formula. Dr. Mustafa gave me the names of 2 other exotic ingredients I should include, along with instructions on how to find them and order online. It wasn't easy to get them, it wasn't cheap, and it took a long time for them to arrive. Yet, when I added them to my magic brew that night, I unleashed my full sexual beast. I remember stepping out of the shower, opening the door, and standing in the doorway looking into our bedroom. Angie was in bed, half asleep, scrolling through Facebook on her phone, when I dropped my towel to the floor and stood before her, naked, exposing my fully erect manhood in all its throbbing glory. At last, I had 100% hard as steel firmness. Angie looked over at it and gasped. Never again would she look at me with sadness and disappointment. The look in her eyes was different now. It was a look of awe. For the next 24 hours, our bedroom became the sexual Olympics. Round after round in every position, including some I think we invented. It was raw animal lust. I'd never seen her so turned on. She craved me inside of her, begging for more, clawing her nails deep into my back, wanting it deeper, harder. And so I kept drinking my brew, enhanced with the 2 super ingredients Dr. Mustafa told me about. And I delivered like a champion, ridding myself of all the frustration I'd felt during my years of limpness and shame, proving to myself and my wife that my manhood wasn't only back, I was a stronger, more potent man and more powerful lover than ever. I was in complete command of my ejaculations too. No matter how intense the sex got, no matter how amazing it felt, I no longer had to worry about finishing too quick. I was in control. And when it was time for my big finish, the volume of my ejaculation was massive, much thicker and more explosive than before. I was shocked at the level of intensity too. And I didn't need hours to recharge. I could deliver an earth-shattering climax and be ready 30 minutes later with another steel-strong erection. Yet, it's this next part that will really excite you. Because one morning, as I lay in bed with Angie after another proud sexual performance, an idea hit me like a lightning bolt. I called the lab and spoke to their head chemist. I told him about the super ingredients that Dr. Mustafa had shared with me, and I asked him, would it be possible for you to take the 5 ingredients in the report you sent me and add these other 2 and turn it into a capsule? The chemist thought about it for a moment and said, well, we can do it, but creating this custom blend and putting it in capsule form for you won't be cheap. When he told me what it would cost, my first thought was, ouch! It was like a kick to the gut. But then I had another thought. The 5 ingredients in my daily brew had already done more than supercharge my sex life with Angie. I also felt leaner and healthier, and I had confidence and energy like I hadn't felt in years. Angie had even noticed that I'd gotten slimmer around the waist, and my muscles were looking more toned than before. By the way, these are some of the other benefits of the ingredients I'll tell you about in a moment. And so, at that moment, I imagined how my life would change if I always had a ready-made supply of this safe, natural, manhood-boosting formula on hand, in easy-to-use capsule form, so I never need to worry about finding the ingredients, measuring doses, and going through the hassle of mixing up drinks. And with a capsule, I'd never have any excuses because taking 2 capsules would be my simple 30-second daily ritual. Swallow 2 capsules a day, and I'd become the advanced, maximum strength version of myself. I told the chemist, let's do it. And after a month of eagerly awaiting for it to arrive, like a kid on the lookout for Santa Claus, a big brown box showed up on my doorstep containing my first batch of capsules. I even had a name for it picked out in my head, Primal Power. Because this insanely powerful, all-natural, and completely safe blend of ingredients restores the primal edge that we once had as men and brings us back to ancient times when warlords and emperors were like gods amongst mortal men. Their veins flowed with peak testosterone and dominant masculine power and confidence. I could have kept this secret to myself, but the other reason I did this was because I knew men who badly needed it, like my friend Jason. He was only 41. I don't know if ED was his problem, but I knew his sex life with his wife was dead, and they were bored and unhappy with each other. So I handed him a bottle of Primal Power one day at the gym, and within 2 weeks, Jason told me him and his wife were screwing like horny teenagers again. And even better, she was making him feel like a man, and their relationship was better than it had ever been. Then there was my buddy from the Marines, Big Nate. He'd recently married some sexy little gal he met over in the Philippines. He told me that he couldn't keep up with her sexually, especially with his health issues, and was worried she might leave him for a guy her own age. But after 2 short weeks with Primal Power, Nate was giving her sex like she'd never had. Everything is good in their world now. It really is amazing the way a woman feels bonded to you and will do anything to please you in and out of the bedroom when you can satisfy her deeply and give her body-shaking, toe-curling orgasms that completely rock her world. The 6 men I shared it with told their friends too. Soon I was getting emails and Facebook messages from strangers asking me to share my secret formula with them. When I realized how many men truly needed this help, I struck a deal with the lab to order a shipment of Primal Power and make it available through this website. But only for a limited time, for reasons you'll know in a moment. It works no matter your age, no matter how long it's been since you had fully satisfying sex, and no matter if you're looking to put the spark back in your relationship or you want to have sexual adventures with new women and make them worship you like some ancient sex god emperor. Here's what Jason S. from Arizona, a guy stuck in a boring, sex-starved marriage, said about Primal Power. My wife and I had a good sex life earlier in our marriage, but the last 6 years or so, I'd be lucky to be intimate with her once every 2 months. There was always an excuse, but deep down, I knew I just wasn't satisfying her any longer. But that all changed once I started taking Primal Power. I couldn't believe it, man. We're doing it nearly every day now, and it's the hottest, kinkiest sex we've ever had. Thanks for sharing this with me, brother. I owe you. And here's what Paul P. from Hoboken, New Jersey had to say. At 46, I figured my declining sex drive was just because I was getting older. Depressing, but that's really what I thought. That was before you showed me how to awaken the beast inside of me. Now, I can get hard at a moment's notice, and my girlfriend is loving all the wild sex we're having. Yesterday, we had sex 4 times. And best of all, we're arguing less, getting out more, and doing stuff as a couple. Our relationship has never been so good. Now, I could sit here all day and tell you what men are saying about this all-natural breakthrough, but I know you're ready to experience this for yourself. So let me tell you more about Primal Power and the incredible opportunity you have in front of you right now. For the first time, this ancient knowledge is now available to you. It's a mixture of tribal remedies backed by modern science and proven results. The clinically proven nutrients and natural aphrodisiacs in each capsule of Primal Power come from Mother Nature herself. And when you combine them and create that chain reaction synergistic effect, you'll turbocharge your libido, enhance your confidence and mental focus, improve your blood flow for fully engorged erections, heal the neural pathways between your brain and penis, repair vascular inflammation, increase your sexual satisfaction and hers, produce high-volume ejaculate, completely control your orgasm so you decide when you finish, restore your youthful energy levels and vitality, enjoy more passion with your wife or girlfriend as they feel awe and admiration for your masculine powers. And if you're single, you'll attract countless women with your newfound confidence and the knowledge that you can give them ultimate pleasure and satisfaction. The only way this could possibly be any easier is if I came to your home and spoon-fed you. Primal Power is quickly becoming a phenomenon and has already helped 19,230 men and counting from 73 countries. And not just married guys. Bobby, a 44-year-old coworker of mine, hadn't been with a woman since his wife left him. And here's what he had to say about Primal Power. Mike, as you know, I was married for a long time and never messed around. When I became single, I could hardly imagine going out on a date and trying to get laid. But that's exactly what I did last night with this sexy 28-year-old nightclub waitress I'd been chatting with on a dating website. I'd been taking Primal Power for the past couple of weeks, like you said, just in case. We finally met up last night, and after we had dinner and she invited me back to her place, we had sex 4 times, and it was insane. I wore her out. Now she won't stop texting me. I think she's in love. Every day, I receive gushing success stories from men of all ages who experienced astonishing results from this all-natural 30-second fix. From men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who are enjoying passion and intimacy with their wives like they haven't experienced in years, to younger guys who want to play the field and use these sexual superpowers to date multiple women or enjoy wild one-night stands with total rock star confidence. I get thankful emails from women too. You'll actually hear from one in a moment. But just know this, the men you've heard from so far tried the beta version of Primal Power, the test version, before this full system got released. Since then, it's been upgraded and improved with some amazing free bonuses to get you hard and keep you hard as steel. And to give you secrets of sexual performance that will make your sex life 1,000 times more pleasurable for you and for any lucky woman you are with. This system will hold you by the hand and walk you through the steps. So within moments of getting your hands on it, you'll be able to reverse your ED forever and become a rock-hard stud in the bedroom. Every time. It's drop dead, simple to use, and takes only 30 seconds per day. And so far, you've only heard about 10% of what you'll discover inside the full Primal Power system, which was personally reviewed by Dr. Mustafa and also includes input from a range of other ED and sexual performance experts. It's been proven to work like magic for thousands of everyday men around the world between the ages of 22 and 88. And the reason is simple. Primal Power solves your problem at a core level. It is not a temporary fix or a band-aid over a wound. Soon you'll finally be free from the embarrassment, the shame, the frustration, the nagging sense that you're not man enough. Soon you'll be able to stand proud and tall with full confidence that you can get erect anytime, anywhere, and give your lover deep, rock-hard penetration in multiple positions. For as long as it takes for her to orgasm, once, twice, as many times as you want to blow her mind. Gone will be the days of excuses as to why you aren't feeling it tonight. Gone will be the days of uncertainty about whether or not your woman is truly happy with you. You'll have peace of mind knowing you're the one man on this earth who can rock her world and fulfill her every carnal desire. So now let me ask you a serious question. What kind of value would you place on an easy, safe, natural 30-second fix that will eradicate your ED, restore your manhood, and skyrocket your confidence and energy, and make your woman, or any woman, worship you as her own personal sex god? I know a lot of men who would gladly pay a fortune for that. What would it truly be worth to know that you can get hard as steel on command and fully penetrate your lover for hours on end, over and over, pounding her with your throbbing rock-hard manhood as her eyes roll back in her head and she loses herself in a state of pure ecstasy and bliss. And when you're done with her, she's so exhausted she can barely move because you've blown her mind and completely and utterly satisfied her? And from now on, she feels sexually and emotionally addicted to you because she knows you are the only man on this earth who can give her these mind-blowing sexual adventures. A lot of men would be willing to give virtually anything for this kind of masculine sexual power. I personally know men who spent thousands and even tens of thousands on surgeries, treatments, and dangerous pills just to get a taste of that level of sexual excitement and power. And let's not mention what it would cost you if you go down the wrong path. Like the millions of men who lose their sex drive and ability to get hard and think, it'll be okay. Our relationship is about more than that. And they wind up suffering through crushing, hellish divorces and breakups because the truth is, your woman does need sex from you. And if you aren't delivering, she cannot truly have respect for you as a man. Then there are men who don't know about this all-natural 30-second fix, and they wind up paying for it with their health. They become dependent on pills and develop deadly heart conditions that ruin their health or suddenly strike them down dead. And others who resort to surgery to try to fix their ED and suffer deformed penises and worse sexual function than ever. When the word began to spread about Primal Power, I was contacted by random guys on the internet who begged to give me hundreds or even thousands of dollars to get their hands on this. But I'm not some greedy pharmaceutical executive who only cares about stuffing his pockets with your kids' college fund. I'm just an average guy like you. I know what you're going through. The only difference is, I was lucky enough to stumble upon an amazing all-natural solution. Right now, all you need to do is select your money-saving package below. Each and every capsule of Primal Power contains an assortment of other ingredients, which each contain their own science-backed benefits. Taking any one of these nutrients on their own will be beneficial, yet it's when they are combined into one capsule that you get the full, maximum strength effects. Every capsule of Primal Power is manufactured here in the USA under the most sterile, strict, FDA-approved standards. This formula is 100% all-natural, non-GMO, and completely safe. And on this private page, you'll be able to get access to this health-transforming formula before anyone else. Yet there are two reasons why the price is much lower than you're probably expecting. Reason number one, right now I want to get Primal Power into the hands of as many men as possible because we're looking to gather more success stories. But I urge you to act now because we're close to running out of stock, and once that happens, this webpage will disappear from the internet. And the next time you see Primal Power for sale, the price is likely to be double the amount or even more. Reason number two, I'm only able to offer this to you at today's amazing pricing because I've been able to eliminate all of the middlemen who tack on extra costs. For this special offer, I was able to partner directly with a highly respected USA supplement manufacturer so that we can ship directly to you right away. These are the reasons why I'm not going to ask for upwards of $200 per bottle, which is the amount that marketing experts told me I should charge. In fact, because I don't want price to stand in your way, I won't ask you for even half of that. Yet before you order, you should know this. Research shows it's best to take Primal Power consistently for at least 90 to 180 days to experience optimal results. This is why I can also offer you an even more incredible discount if you take this opportunity to order 90 days worth of Primal Power or 180 days worth. This will save you even more money on top of today's special low pricing. That said, I'm only able to guarantee you this special pricing for today or until our limited inventory runs out. You'll never be able to buy Primal Power cheaper than through this private page. So if we still have bottles of Primal Power in stock, you will see a table appear below with money-saving options for you to choose from. And I'm so confident that you'll experience fast, life-changing results that I'm not just promising your success, I'm guaranteeing it. This is why, when you try Primal Power today, you're covered by a 60-day, no questions asked, 100% money-back guarantee. Take it for a test drive, and remember this, you are risking nothing. If trying out Primal Power doesn't turn out to be the best decision you've ever made, or if you change your mind for any reason whatsoever, just let us know anytime in the next 60 days. We'll refund your payment right away. Every penny, no questions asked. There is simply zero risk on your part. The only risk you could possibly face is the one of regret if you miss this one-time only opportunity to experience this life-changing formula. You've got 60 days to test drive the powerful impact this formula will have on your health, energy, appearance, relationships, and sexual drive and pleasure. So take 2 months and then decide. Now it's time to select your money-saving package below and experience this for yourself. Select your money-saving package below and take advantage of today's 100% risk-free opportunity. This is the bare minimum I need to cover the costs of keeping this website online. And it probably won't be online much longer now that Big Pharma is coming for me. For now, I do need to pay monthly server costs, and I'm paying a customer support team to be available to help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Go ahead and access the system. Swipe the secrets, try it for yourself, and then decide whether you want your minimal deposit back. You've got a full 60 days to do so. And as you can see, I removed all the risk from you and put it on my own shoulders. If you wish to have your deposit returned to you in full, all you need to do is send us an email. You'll see how to contact our friendly customer support team once you enter our members area and get access to the system. So far, we've received very few of these requests. Instead, we're getting emails every day from men of all ages who want to thank us. And women too, like Alexandra M. from Hamburg, Germany. I felt like my husband was drifting away, and I thought he wasn't attracted to me anymore. When I would try to have sex with him, he would complain that he was too tired from work. Then I heard about Primal Power from a friend of mine, and I purchased the system. It was just a small refundable deposit, so what did I have to lose? I know it sounds sneaky, but I put the elixir ingredients in his fruit smoothie that he always drinks with breakfast. I told him it was a health supplement to help with his energy. He liked the taste, and he saw that it boosted his mood and productivity a lot, so he began to drink it every day. And within 10 days, he was making love to me the way he did when we were first dating. He became insatiable. Sometimes he texts me to meet him at home during his lunch break so we can have sex. I finally admitted to him I've been putting the Primal Power in his smoothies. He was surprised at first, then he said it was a great thing for our marriage. Nowadays, we both take the elixir in the morning. I can tell you, it works for women too. My husband and I feel young, energetic, and totally passionate and turned on for each other. So just to put you totally at ease and make this a no-brainer, here's our ironclad 100% money-back guarantee. If you follow the instructions inside the Primal Power system and you don't enjoy a full lasting erection within 14 days and the rock-hard stamina to enjoy the best sex you've had in years, and I'm not talking about just any erection, I'm talking about thick, rock-hard penis of steel, then I insist that you email my 24-hour customer support team at any time over the next 60 days and ask to have your deposit returned in full. You'll get it back, every penny, no questions asked. And since you've watched this far, let me sweeten the deal by giving you the following digital bonuses when you try Primal Power today. Fast action bonus number 1, her best lover ever, a $47 value. This ebook, which you will get access to immediately after you place your Primal Power order, shows you exactly what you need to do in order to become the most incredible lover your woman will ever have in her lifetime. Period. Just be warned, we've received reports from clients that just one of the many secrets in this bonus guide is enough to make women get sexually addicted to you. So that whenever you're not around, she'll literally fantasize about having your rock-hard manhood sliding in and out of her, giving her pleasure the way no other man ever could, or ever will. She'll want and need you morning, noon, and night. And thanks to Primal Power, your soldier will be ready to charge into battle anytime, anywhere. When you select your money-saving package below, you'll also receive instant access to Fast Action Bonus number 2, Dirty Talk Secrets, regular value $67. One of the most devastating sexual tools at your disposal is your tongue. I'm not talking about oral sex. I mean using it to speak words that activate her dirtiest desires. Talking dirty to a woman, the right way, is one of the fastest, most powerful ways to trigger her deepest, naughtiest cravings. That's why inside this bonus, which is yours free when you take action today, you'll discover how to drop kinky hints with your woman during the day with simple little text messages so she can't think of anything but making wild, passionate love with you the minute the two of you are alone. Why all women love it when you talk dirty to them, even if they tell you otherwise. And you'll make them talk dirty to you too and expose their innermost sexual cravings. How a few well-timed sexual activation words can trigger feelings of raging lust in any woman and even make her do things in bed you'd never expect. And it'll be her idea. Fast action bonus number 3, Supreme Sexual Stamina, a $97 value. Getting hard on command is what makes you a man, but staying hard long enough to rock her world is what makes you a legend. In this exclusive bonus, you're going to learn never-before-revealed tips and tricks for mastering your ejaculations so that you never blow it too soon and always leave her utterly satisfied and in awe of your sexual stamina. So let's recap. When you click the big yellow button below and try out the Primal Power system totally risk-free for 60 days, you'll also get immediate access to Her Best Lover Ever, a $47 value, Dirty Talk Secrets, a $67 value, and Supreme Sexual Stamina, a $97 value. That's $211 worth of extra value you're getting when you try Primal Power today, totally risk-free. Remember, this is the only course out there that reverses ED by attacking the problem at its core. And in the event you decide to ask for your deposit to be returned, you'll still get to keep all the digital bonuses. That's the least I can do to thank you for watching this presentation and giving this course a try. On the next page, you'll submit your refundable deposit through our secure checkout page. Your payment details and personal information will be kept completely confidential because the checkout page is encrypted with the latest 256-bit encryption technology. And to further protect your privacy, nothing about Primal Power will appear on your credit card or bank statement. The only thing that will show up will be a charge from ClickBank, which is the secure payment processor that we use. They process over 100,000 secure transactions daily. But you do need to act now. For reasons you now understand, I honestly don't know how much longer this website will be online. And this goes far beyond the bedroom benefits. Once I made this discovery, my wife Angie had a new level of respect for me. She physically wanted me and craved me to the point of being addicted to me. Now Angie exercises harder than ever because she loves wearing tight outfits that turn me on. She wants to keep me focused on her because she knows the new super confident me is getting looks from other women, including Shauna, my new receptionist at my car dealership, who's half my age. By the way, my sales numbers are back up in a big way. I swear, ever since I started having a lot of sex again, I exude a type of confidence that other women notice. It's like I'm giving off a scent that women pick up on. I'll never cheat on my wife, but hey, I don't mind the attention. And when I'm alone with her, instead of feeling worried or nervous, I'm as confident as a raging bull. Knowing I can fully penetrate her for hours on end, lasting longer, going harder, and giving her more pleasure than any man ever will. No more embarrassing limpness. No more lame excuses. Just rock-hard performances every time. Here's what to do next. Select your money-saving package below. Then fill out your order details on the next page. You can do so with complete confidence because your details are being kept totally private, and you're covered by a no-questions-asked money-back guarantee, good for a full 60 days. Your order of Primal Power will be shipped to you in the mail right away. We'll even cover the shipping costs. And you'll get instant access to your digital bonuses. Once you complete your order, just 30 seconds from now, you'll be taken to a private page on this website where you can immediately download your digital bonuses to your computer, phone, or tablet. Nothing about Primal Power will appear on your credit card or bank statement. The only thing that will show up will be a charge from ClickBank, which is our trusted and 100% secure payment processor, which safely processes over 100,000 transactions per day. Once you complete your checkout, your bottles will be shipped to you immediately, and your digital bonuses will be available to you instantly in the members area of this website. Take Primal Power for a test drive, and remember this, you are risking nothing. If trying out Primal Power doesn't turn out to be the best decision you've ever made, or if you change your mind for any reason whatsoever, just let us know anytime in the next 60 days. We'll refund your payment right away. There's simply zero risk on your part. The only risk you could possibly face is the one of regret. If you miss this one-time only opportunity to experience this life-changing formula, you've got 60 days, 2 full months to test drive the powerful impact this formula will have in your health, energy, appearance, relationships, and sexual drive and pleasure. Then decide. Now it's time to select your money-saving package below and experience this for yourself. Make your selection below and take advantage of today's 100% risk-free opportunity.